Peter Capaldi, plays the Thinker in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, but who is the character, and how close is the DCEU version to the comics? The Suicide Squad has introduced an array of interesting and obscure comic characters to the forefront of the DCEU, including Peter Capaldi's version of the Thinker. But who is the Thinker in the comics, and is the film adaptation of the character similar to their origins? There have actually been 4 different characters who have used the moniker. Clifford DeVoe, Cliff, Carmichael, Desmond Connor, and AI have all been called the Thinker in DC Comics. However, the character has always been a criminal known for his intellect, hence the name. Clifford DeVoe was the first to appear, way back in 1943, facing off against the original Flash, Jay Garrick, in All Flash number 12. A failed lawyer, DeVoe turned to a life of crime but was often bested by Garrick. He turned to his knowledge of technology to create devices to enhance his mind and finally defeat the Flash. He invented the thinking cap, a metal contraption that gives him telepathic and telekinetic abilities. Throughout the years, Clifford has been affiliated with both the Injustice Society and the Suicide Squad. The most prominent character to take up the Thinker mantle, DeVoe, was created by Gardner Fox and E. E. Hibbard. The Thinker of the Suicide Squad appears to be a new entity almost entirely, as is evident by the fact that his name, Dr. Gus Greaves, matches none of the comic characters who have adopted the Thinker alias. While Gus visually resembles Thinker 2 from DC's New 52 reboot, this is largely where the similarities cease. Greaves' backstory is also entirely different, having been signed onto Project Starfish to develop a weapon for the US in Corto Maltese. While the Thinker reluctantly joins the Suicide Squad under threat of death, this proves to be his downfall, as he ultimately dies when Starro is able to get its tentacles on him. Tragically, this means the audience never actually learns what the exact nature of his powers in this universe are, as he never uses them, meaning the contraption on his head seems to solely exist to enhance his cognitive abilities. As if he were capable of psychic abilities, it seems likely he would have used them when apprehended by Task Force X in order to make his escape. Realistically, the biggest change in the DCEU edition of the villain may actually be how villainous he is. The Thinker could well be the most actively callous character introduced in the Suicide Squad, as it's clear that Starro is entirely cognizant, and has been continually trying to beg Greaves for freedom the entire time the project has restrained it. This is arguably the reason the creature goes berserk and tries to control all of Corto Maltese when it obtains freedom, as its only real exposure to humanity was Capaldi's sinister scientist. This said, this is for a purpose, as the DCEU version of the Thinker serves to reinforce the main idea that seems to be behind the Suicide Squad, as he presents a picture of a villain who has been allowed to operate by the American government, just in the same way they appear to have overlooked Peacemaker's underlying bloodlust. What's worth note is that, while Peter Capaldi's version of the Thinker is dead, there's nothing to stop another character from taking on the mantle. In the same vein as the comics have had multiple different people adopt the alias, meaning this may not be the last audiences see of the Thinker.